Hey everyone, and welcome back. As the Christmas lights start twinkling and a special kind of magic fills the air, it's the perfect time to share one of the most heartwarming love stories ever told. It's a story about faith, family, and a journey that brought two people together in the most incredible way. This isn't your typical boy meets girl story. This is the story of Isaac and Rebekah. Our story begins with Abraham, a figure you might know as the father of nations. By this time, he was getting on in years, and his beloved wife, Sarah, had passed away. His son, Isaac, the miracle child they had waited so long for, was now a grown man, but he was still single. Abraham had one final, important mission: to find a wife for Isaac. Now, Abraham was very particular. He didn't want Isaac to marry someone from the local Canaanite tribes. He wanted a bride from his own homeland, from his own relatives, people who shared their faith and values. It was about preserving a legacy, a promise, but there was a catch. Abraham was too old to make the long journey himself, and he absolutely did not want Isaac to leave the promised land. So, he calls his most trusted servant, a man who had been with him for decades and managed his entire household. He makes the servant swear a solemn oath: "Go to my country and my kindred, and find a wife for my son Isaac." Imagine the pressure. The servant's task was like finding a needle in a haystack, but with divine stakes. The servant loads up 10 camels with the finest gifts: gold jewelry, beautiful clothes, all sorts of treasures, and sets off on the long trek to Mesopotamia, to the city of Nar, where Abraham's relatives lived. When he finally arrives, tired from the journey, he stops by a well outside the city. It was evening, the time when the women of the city would come out to draw water. Here's where it gets really beautiful. The servant, feeling the weight of his mission, says a simple, heartfelt prayer. He asks for a sign. He says, "Lord, let it be that when I ask a young woman for a drink, if she says, 'Drink, and I will water your camels also,' let her be the one you have chosen for Isaac." Think about that. Offering a drink to a thirsty traveler is one thing. But volunteering to draw water for 10 thirsty camels after a long desert journey? That's a huge amount of work. This wasn't just a test of kindness. It was a test of extraordinary generosity and a servant's heart. And guess what? Before he even finished praying, a beautiful young woman named Rebekah comes to the well. She was, in fact, the granddaughter of Abraham's brother, exactly the family he was looking for. The servant runs to her and asks, "Please, let me have a little water from your jar." Rebekah immediately says, "Drink, my lord," and as he's drinking, she adds, "I will draw water for your camels also, until they have finished drinking." The sign, it was happening exactly as he had prayed. The servant stood there in stunned silence, watching her, knowing he was witnessing a miracle. He was so overwhelmed that he gave her a gold nose ring and 2 gold bracelets right then and there. He asks who she is, and when she reveals she's from Abraham's family, he bows his head and worships, thanking God for leading him so directly. Rebekah runs home to tell her family, and her brother, Laban, hearing the story and seeing the expensive gifts, rushes out to invite the servant to stay with them. That evening, the servant lays out the whole story for Rebekah's family: Abraham's quest, his own journey, the prayer at the well, and how Rebekah fulfilled the sign perfectly. He makes it clear this is a divinely arranged match. Rebekah's family sees it too. They say, "This thing is from the Lord." She is yours. The final decision, however, rested with Rebekah. The next morning, they ask her, "Will you go with this man?" And without hesitation, she says, "I will go." So Rebekah journeys back with the servant. As they approach home, she sees a man walking in the fields, meditating. It was Isaac. He lifts up his eyes and sees the camels approaching. The servant tells her, "That is my master." Rebekah, in a sign of respect, covers herself with her veil. Isaac brings her into his mother Sarah's tent, and he marries her. The story tells us that he loved her, and he was comforted after his mother's death. What a beautiful end to the story, and what a perfect one to reflect on during this season of hope and love. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest gifts come to us when we have faith and trust in a plan bigger than our own. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.